Shalom, shalom, shalom to my social media family. I am Sharon Thomas, and we are live on Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok. It is Thursday, September the 25th, 2025, in the year of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. And this is Office Hours with Sharon. I am a licensed clinician who will answer all of your, well, I don't know if I should say all, as many as I can, which hopefully will be all, of your mental health questions, behavioral health, emotional health, well being, your faith walk with Jesus Christ. Answer questions all along those lines: relationships, addiction, trauma, all of those things that come under the purview of mental health and the faith walk with Jesus Christ. And so that is my profession as a licensed professional counselor. I will not be your online therapist, but I will provide education and information to you to help empower you. So this, you can consider this an empowerment, an information empowerment session, so that you can be equipped and armed with information, because information is power. And then you can seek out your own therapist on your free time to help unravel some of those things that have come to uh, uh, entangle us, I guess I would say, mentally and emotionally, etc., with all the things that we've been through in life over the years. And sometimes it's not, about trauma or different things that may be more severe. It's just life is challenging. And sometimes we need somebody to talk to in confidence, who's not judging us and who has the expertise to know how to be objective and go down those avenues of our lives, and unravel some things for us, because a lot of times there's patterns that we have in our behavior, and making similar decisions over and over again, maybe not even realizing it, such as dating the same person with a different name. Why do I kind of get caught up with the same type of person? Well, that probably has to do with something that you've encountered previously that you're not aware of. There's a connection there. And so that's the type of person that you're attracting, and that's the type of person that's that is attracted to you. That's just one example of many of some of the patterns that we have that we might not realize in life. But when we go to therapy, those types of things can definitely be talked about and figured out. And information being power also too, when we are aware, have an awareness of something that we didn't before. Hopefully we'll do better. Become aware of something. Now I'm aware of it, I can do better. And what therapy comes to do is it brings the subconscious to the conscious. The subconscious is the place where we don't know what's going on there. But when we bring it up from the subconscious to the conscious is, I know what I'm doing. Right now, if I say something foul to you, I know I said something foul to you. I'm conscious of that. I'm doing that on purpose. But the subconscious, our nonverbal communication, which is more than 90% of our communication, is what our body is saying. That's what our subconscious is, where our subconscious is coming out in our actions. So when people are reading us, just like we are reading other people, they're reading our nonverbal communication, which is the truth of how what it is that we're feeling and what it is that we're doing in the moment. Our mouths, we can say what we want people to believe, but our body tells the truth. And people are always watching, as they should be, to be observant. I'm watching you, you're watching me. And so my body, your body, is telling the truth. And so that's why people can walk away from you or someone, just saying you as a general, and then walk away and say, she's lying. Right? Because they heard what you said out of your mouth, but your body didn't line up with what you said. The body speaks the truth. The mouth is what I want you to know. And this is the prime easy example that I give that's just so obvious. If you in social media land were to ask me right now, Sharon, how are you doing? And I responded like this: oh, I'm fine. Obvious example. What would you believe? I said I'm fine out of my mouth because maybe that's what I want you to believe. But my nonverbals, my body language, the sigh, the head lowered, the scratchy voice with the low tone, the sad eyes, that said something's not right. She said she's fine, but something's going on there. She's not so fine. So that's what you're going to believe. So that's what people are constantly doing. We're reading one another as we should. And that's where the truth lies. And that's what therapy does. Therapy helps to bring out and that was an easy example, but therapy helps to bring out those things that we may have actually closed ourselves off to, suppressed or repressed, and those things that we're unaware of. And it helps to bring that to the surface. So now, wow, I see that connection. That's why I behave that way. That's why that happened. That's why I'm attracted to that type of person. Yes, because now I become aware of some of those things that were hidden in my subconscious that's driving my outward behavior. The subconscious, your outward behavior is a manifestation of your subconscious. And the emotions that are attached to it are the emotions that are buried in your subconscious that you are unaware of, but your outward behavior reflects them. These are things that you don't even know is going on. But as a therapist, therapy can help you with that. That's why everybody, I have my own as well, everybody needs a therapist, because we are complicated beings. And unless you studied this stuff, you wouldn't know. And a lot of times people, in relationships, they wonder, this person, they're just doing this to me because of this, no, it's really just our issues clashing. And because we don't know how our issues manifest themselves in our relationships, we think it's just the other person doing this just to make us angry or whatever. It's just our issues clashing, and we don't know how our issues are showing up in this relationship, if we even know what our issues truly are. So there's just a lot that really goes into these human vessels and the psychology of our humanity. Because it's not Sharon's psychology, Joe's psychology, Sue's psychology. It's human psychology. So when you learn how you function, you can know how everybody else functions too. You don't even have to know what's happened in their lives, right? And you might not know the specifics, but you can know, there's an issue there, because I can tell from the nonverbals and from some of the verbals that I can detect an issue, because now you understand your own psychology. So you understand other psychology as well without even knowing the specifics. So those are just some examples that I'm giving of how great it is to get into therapy, so we can learn about ourselves. And also on this show, again, I'm not going to be your online therapist, but I am a therapist, and I will, this is an information empowerment session. So you can be equipped and armed with information to begin to know yourself better and to understand, that's making sense. I've experienced that. Or wait a minute, what about this? So we put some of the, give some answers to some things that you may have been wondering about many things regarding, mental health, relationships, addiction, et cetera, that I have an area of expertise in, and trauma, et cetera, that I can share with you. And also too, I'll bring people on the show who have expertise as well in some areas, and you can ask them questions. Also too, if you have questions after we get off the show that you want me to answer on in future office hours with Sharon, just email me at fulllifecommunications@gmail.com. Full Life Communications is the platform where you're watching me from. Full Life Communications with an S @gmail.com, and put office hours in the subject bar, so I know I do many shows. So this way I'll know that's the show where I answer that question on. So please email me during the week, put your questions in the chat, DM me, I'll find your question. Hopefully not as good with the TikTok as I am with the other ones, because I just started TikTok last week. TikTok community, please bear with me. I'm new to TikTok. So, and as I'm looking on the screen at TikTok, the font is so tiny. You see, I have glasses on, and I'm not a spring chicken anymore. So it's kind of difficult to see the writing. So I see some people here. Because I want to make sure that I haven't seen mine in a while, but love mine. I'm assuming you're talking about your therapist, and I can't see the name of that person. The statement stands out. So I'm so sorry I can't see what your name is, but I love your statement that you haven't seen yours in a while, but you love your therapist. Go back to your therapist. Even if it's just maintenance, because I have a lot of people who come and they just come for maintenance, just like a tune-up, just like you do with your car. Hey, haven't been here in a while, just want to check in, run some things by you, making sure I'm still on track, get your feedback type of thing. So yeah, maintenance is good, and preventative maintenance, just like we go to the regular medical doctor for preventative maintenance to get these tests, get that test, make sure nothing's lingering or trying to, take hold in our body. We can have preventative counseling as well, especially for relationships, like premarital counseling and something that you're going to commit to a long-term relationship, to the two people coming together to see who they are and try to work out some of those things that they're already experiencing or that may come up down the line, not knowing truly who they are. See, we live on the surface of our relationships really because nobody wants to go to that vulnerable place. And that vulnerable place is the place of our subconscious, right? And that's where the vulnerability lies. I'm going to allow you to go to this level right here, because if I go to that vulnerable place and I've been hurt before, why would I want to do that? That would be silly of me to go somewhere where I know I can be hurt. But not everybody is out to hurt us. But hurt says, I'm hurt nonetheless. And so therefore I can't trust that you won't hurt me. But in our therapy sessions, we help people to understand that everybody is not untrustworthy. And so the couple begins to understand how to let that person know in word and deed that they can be trusted, not to hurt them with their vulnerability, with their mate's vulnerability, and vice versa. But that's a learned way of being, because oftentimes we're just so busy judging, even unintentionally, and no one likes to be judged. And so because I'm going to be judged, no thank you. That's why therapy is such a safe space, because it's non-judgmental as well as confidential, and it's safe. And so I can sit back and I can relax and I can just share. I can just be Sharon. I can just exist in the moment without judgment and get some help along the way. So when you know how freeing that is so freeing. We don't have conversations like that with people who we have in our lives, who we know on a personal level, because it's different. It's not a therapeutic relationship. It's a soulish realm, typically, relationship, which is those emotional attachments. And with those emotional attachments comes emotionalism, which I'm giving you my judgment. I'm giving you how I feel about what you said or about what you did. I don't always want to know what you feel. I just want to be. And I want someone to listen and be able to understand and feel me where I am and understand where I am. Meet me where I am, regardless of what I say and do. That's what therapy does. Meets you where you are, gives you what you need in that moment. And it's so freeing, provides so much relief in the moment, and you walk away feeling better. And sometimes you walk away with some angst, and that's fine, because that shows that you're wrestling with what you came in for. There should be some wrestling, because that means you're wrestling it out of your body where you're housing all of this. But we need to get it out. But we got to wrestle with some things first, because we have patterns. We've been indoctrinated into some things. However long we've lived, we've been indoctrinated into that mind of thinking. And it's hard to get rid of that way of thinking. And so I'm wrestling with it like, yeah, that makes sense. But I've been believing and behaving this way for so long, it's a struggle. And so sometimes I'll walk away angry. I'll walk away with some anxiety out of the session, but it's a good anger. It's a healthy anger. It's a healthy anxiety. It's different than a different kind of anxiety or anger that you may walk away with. I'm angry because she, brought this to my attention. Well, you know what? Sometimes the truth doesn't feel good, but you need to know the truth nonetheless, because that promotes growth. And people are the better for it. Initially, they might struggle, like we all do. It's like, oh, that was a sting, but I needed to hear it. Oh, why? Why did you have to go there? But it was good for me to go there because I'm better. You unlocked some things in me by having that conversation. It's totally different type of conversation, a therapeutic conversation than just a regular conversation. So I appreciate that comment. I'm sorry I can't see your name, but I'm glad that you have a therapist and that you miss them. And I hope that you will go back. It's me. Is that Kiana? It's so light here. I think that says Kiana. Hi, Kiana. I think that says Kiana. Excuse me if I am missing it. It says me missing my therapist. LOL. Oh, Kiana, that's great. Let's see. Anybody else? Anybody else? Okay, I think TikTok, I have to have the camera so much closer to me because this writing is so small. Very, very freeing, I think. Okay, very freeing. Yes, very freeing. Okay. She is in agreement, and I see many people have joined here. I love that you are going live. Keep it up. Is that Anya? I think that's Anya. Hey, Anya. I think I can tell it's Anya by the picture, but I do see, I think, an A. And bear with me, TikTok. Bear with me, TikTok. I have to write to TikTok because this writing is so small on this screen. It's just absurd. But I appreciate you guys hanging in there with me. Excuse me. I have two cameras. One, my phone for TikTok, and then I'm on StreamYard with the other camera for YouTube and for Facebook. But I don't know whether it's because it's the phone, so it's small. So if I were to use something bigger, I'll have to figure that out again. I'm new to TikTok, so you guys bear with me. So let's talk a little bit about relationships. Put some questions that you have for me as a therapist about, it doesn't have to be about your own relationships, or it can be a scenario or something you have a question about. Let's talk. And if you have questions that's not about relationships, sure, put it in the chat as well. But I know a lot of times people have questions about relationships. And Anya, I think you said you're doing amazing. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm trying. People have questions about relationships because relationships are so important. And so we need to understand how they work, how we work in them, and how can we get the best out of ourselves and our mate, the person who we're in a relationship with. Okay, so that's the mate relationship, but there's other relationships, friendships, parent-child relationships, right? Boss employee and vice versa. All relationships can have challenges. So it's just not, say, the intimate partner relationship. So what relationship questions do you have, or any other questions regarding, mental health, or questions that you would have for a therapist? But just wanted to bring the relationship topic to the forefront because I get probably the most questions on that in my everyday daily life, whether it be, in sessions or just people outside of sessions who just know what I do for a living. It's typically a relationship question. All right. And if you are watching me live or the replay, please like, subscribe, share. Don't keep all this great information to yourself. And click the notification bell and click all so you'll know when I go live. I do Thursday evenings, office hours with Sharon, every Thursday at 8 p.m. Wednesday evenings, Faith Walk at 8 p.m. regarding the walk of Jesus Christ with my co-host and how to walk that faith walk out. And Monday through Friday at 8 a.m., Good Morning God, where we go before God in prayer. So we pray at 8 a.m. every morning, well, Monday through Friday on Good Morning God. So those are the shows that I'm doing right now. I have some more upcoming shows, but I'll let you know about those in the future. So do you have any relationship questions for me at this moment? And I'll keep trying to look at the chat. And if you have questions, put them in the chat. And I'll just share some information that I think is pertinent for you to know. Being in a relationship with someone, anyone, can be challenging, as we know. And like I said, all kinds of relationships, whether it's parent-child, intimate partner, friendship, all relationships can have their challenges. You know why they have their challenges? Because we bring ourselves to that relationship. And that person brings themselves to the relationship. So when you bring two flawed human beings together, you're going to get a flawed relationship. Bottom line, it can't be any different. And I think sometimes we expect like the miraculous to happen, right? But we don't think that we're bringing two flawed, broken people together, but we're going to have a miraculous relationship with no issues. That will never work, because I bring issues with me that have nothing to do with you, because I bring a whole history with me. However many years you've been living, you bring that history with you to this relationship, and so is that other person. So now if you imagine, especially the longer you've been living, excuse me, you're bringing that many years worth of worth of issues to that relationship. Wow. So when you think of it like that, it's like, yeah, now I can see that. Yeah, that might be asking a lot to have like a relationship that's, issue free, right? It'll never be issue free. I don't care how long you're in a relationship with anyone. You will go to your grave and that relationship will have issues, but that's okay. What we need to do is be able to have healthier relationships. And how we have healthier relationships is because I am dealing with me and my stuff, not focusing on you and your stuff. Yes, there's things that I can share with my person that I'm in this relationship with for them, what I would like for them to do better. But I need to first look at me. We need to first look at ourselves in any relationship. What am I doing that's contributing to why this relationship is the way that it is? Good, bad, or indifferent. But if I'm never taking self-inventory, then I'm just living haphazardly. Just whatever happens, it is what it is. And I'm just expecting you to take that. No. I need for it to be what I make it, not just it is what it is and just haphazard and just expect anyone to just take what I give them. No, it's not acceptable. I need to be on my best game at all times, or at least I'm trying to be. And that means I'm doing self-reflection, introspection, and I'm working on myself in small ways, sometimes major ways, other times, but I'm working on myself, whether it's because I'm reading and trying to figure myself out. I'm in therapy, a combination of both. I'm talking to the Lord. There's many different ways that you can help yourself. I'm taking a workshop, a YouTube video I'm watching on X, Y, and Z subject. There's many things we can do to better ourselves as opposed to just haphazardly living every day. No, I'm good. No, you're not good. Not as good as you think. Because as long as you have issues, which you will until you die, you're not as good as you think. There's always room for improvement. And so if I want to show up the best I can in my relationship, I have to be the best I can be. Not just expect the other person to be the best that they can be. So that's a lot of times what we do. I want someone like this, who has this, that all these wonderful characteristics. But what am I bringing to the table? So we need to look at that. Like, really? If I want that, I need to do some work on me. That's why we always point the finger back at ourselves. Okay, how am I contributing to what's going on? What can I do differently, even if it's patience? I may have not done something to directly cause whatever is going on, but I can learn to maybe be more patient. But what was my indirect action or inaction that may have contributed to what's going on? My silence. How did my silence contribute to what's going on? People call themselves trying to keep the peace so they won't say anything. That's not keeping the peace, because you're in turmoil inside by not saying anything, so you don't have peace inside. And things are still happening that aren't good. It's not keeping the peace. Confronting it leads to keeping the peace. People don't like to confront because they don't do it in the right way. They do it and it winds up in an argument and all the emotional things happen and it's a downward spiral from there. You can confront in love, and you can confront assertively where you're taking into consideration the other person's feelings. So therefore, you're not saying things in a way that will demean them, not calling them out their name. You're not using profanity, right? You're just stating facts and how you feel about what's going on and what you might think we can do about it. So we come up with a plan and we engage together in this strategic plan or this compromise, whatever it's going to be. That's how you confront a situation in love. But people don't confront, right? And so that's why people don't like it, because it can be scary. Because I know he's going to say, I know she's going to, and then it's just an explosion, Everybody understanding my voice has had a situation or seen a situation where a confrontation happened. Just even saying that word, just like, oh, what confrontation? Confront. Confront is not a bad thing. Just don't do it in the right way. So it becomes not a good look. And so it's gotten a bad rap. Confronting and confrontation has gotten a bad rap because people haven't done it well. And that's unfortunate. But in therapy, you learn how to confront in a constructive way. We're not judging. We're just saying how we feel and we're stating how we see the picture. Now, I'm looking at the picture from this side. You're looking at the picture from the other side of the camera. Even talking about right now with, say, social media. You see me. I don't see you. And if I wasn't looking at this camera, I wouldn't see me either. I can't see myself. It takes you to tell me how I'm looking. Again, when we're having a conversation, typically people aren't looking at each other. I mean, not looking in the camera. So if I'm talking to you, you see my face, you see what my body's doing. I don't see that. So it takes you to give me feedback about what my face, etc., look like when I said X, Y, and Z thing. But now if I can't receive the feedback and I get all defensive when you're just telling me, hey, it looks like you're a little angry. I'm not angry. Well, but my nonverbals did say I was angry, but now I'm defensive about it. Even though you just gave me feedback, which was a confronting in an appropriate way, but I got defensive, right? But I got defensive because of something in my history, right? This is why we need to know ourselves. It hit a nerve when you just gave me feedback that says it seems like I'm angry. It hit a nerve, and I don't know why. But there's something in my history that's connected to. And that's what therapy helps us to figure out. We walk that back. What was so damaging, or what was so, what did you hear when that person said you seem like you're angry and all of a sudden you got defensive, right? Defense is a coping mechanism, not a good one, but it is a coping mechanism nonetheless, such as just like denial or nervous laughter and different things like that. But those things are connected to something in our history that's speaking in this moment in time, but it's masking the issue. That's why it's defending it. So now I have to walk back. What is that attached to? Oh, that's attached to when I was told in my childhood that I'm angry all the time. I didn't know that. And so when this person says it, all I'm hearing is that voice that said it. And maybe that voice that mistreated me, that caused me to be angry. And I've been carrying that anger ever since. And it's been playing out in my relationships. And I didn't even know it. Because I didn't know it had an origin. I just thought that this was just me. Oh, that's my issues coming to bear in this moment in this relationship. This is all the stuff that we don't know that's going on all the time. And things happen for a reason. There's a connection. There's a reason why we do what we do. We say what we say. We behave the way we behave. But we need to understand ourselves better so we know why. And then now, because again, my awareness was raised, now I can do something about it. I can't do anything about what I don't know, right? Or what I'm in denial of, right? Denial, I can't do anything about what I deny, right? I'm just checking the feed, you guys. That's why my hand is up here, making sure I'm not missing anyone. So we don't want to walk around and be in denial. I know I don't. But as long as I'm unaware of what those subconscious things are that have happened, that in my life, that are buried in my subconscious, that I'm walking around with unhealed wounds, that I am unaware of how they're manifesting in my relationship. And I'm blaming my relationship issues on things that it shouldn't be blamed on. This is because I just don't know myself. So I'm not really giving myself a running chance at having the healthiest relationship possible because I don't know myself. And then, dare I say, My mate, to say if we're talking about a mate situation, they don't know themselves either. It's not just me. We're both coming to the table, friends, mates, whatever, not knowing how our history is impacting our present and how the two are clashing. It's happening all the time. Hi, honey bunches. Shalom, 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 honey bunches. Good to see you. And so, because of that, we need to understand ourselves better, so we can show up better. And when we show up better, then the relationship is better. So if you can imagine two people in a relationship, I do me as far as working on myself. The other person does them working on themselves. And when we come together and we're both working on ourselves, yes, there's still going to be issues, but we're both working on ourselves. How healthy a relationship would that be? Versus two people coming together who are not working on themselves, which we see most of the time. And that's why the divorce rate is over 50%, right? And we see, breakups happening left and right. And not that people still won't break up even when a relationship is healthy, because they're not meant to be, they're not meant to be. But at least we're giving ourselves a fighting chance, because we're working on ourselves and we're understanding ourselves better, and we're coming together understanding how our history is impacting our present. You bring your history, I bring my history. We both bring how we were raised. Everybody's coming from a different place, different background, etc. Even if you're from the same culture, even if you have the same ethnicity, you're still raised by different people, different environments, etc. May have different traumas, unhealed wounds. We're bringing all of that baggage to this relationship, and it's coming to bear in the center of those relationships, because it can't not do that. You bring that stuff to the workplace. You bring that stuff to your relationship. You bring that stuff to your parenting. You bring you and your baggage, your luggage, everywhere you go, in every relationship that you're in. Don't you want to unburden yourself up from some of that luggage? So when you're parenting now, you're not putting that luggage onto your child, because trust me, you are. The more unhealed wounds you bring to your life as a parent, the more wounds your child will have. The more wounds you bring to that friendship, the more wounds you bring to that marriage, the more wounds that marriage will have, or that friendship will have. Because when we relate to someone in a relationship, that stuff comes out of us. Whether we know it or not, it comes out of us in our language, our speech, how we communicate, our behavior, right? The defenses, etc. It all comes out. And I'm just thinking, this is just me. Again, no. It's your issues, which have become a part of you. But if we heal from the issues, freedom, right? We're so much freer now. And now you don't have to wade through all of these issues. That's a heavy weight. Now it's like, I'm tired. I didn't want to be with you anymore. Or I'm tired of being a parent. Well, being a parent is tiring without issues, just because it's the hardest job in the world. But I'm just saying, when you're weighted down with issues, plus you're a parent, the thought is tiring, let alone doing it, right? So it's like, I need to get somewhere and talk to someone who can help unburden me from me, so I can shed some of this weight, some of this baggage that's weighing down my relationships. Trust me when I tell you, people have physically lost weight by going to therapy, not by trying because of dieting, but because they've released baggage, emotional baggage. I lie to you not. Skin has lightened up, lost weight. People have said, you look so much better. What are you doing? This is what people have come back to me and said. And it was because of therapy. They felt better. They were lighter, literally, in their weight and in how they looked. Because we carry stuff on our physical being. We carry those traumas, those unhealed wounds in our physical being. And these bodies weren't built to house everything that life can throw at us. And that's why it comes out when we speak. It comes out We behave because it wasn't meant to stay in. And oftentimes, if you don't go to therapy and talking about it, we're internalizing all of that stuff. Well, when we internalize all of that stuff, where do you think it's going to go? It doesn't just sit there. Again, it comes out in our speech. It comes out in whether we're a passive or aggressive communicator versus assertive, which is where we all should strive to be. It comes out in our behavior. It comes out in our nonverbal communication, which is speaking the truth to what's actually going on. It's coming out. So we do ourselves a disservice and we do our relationships a disservice when we internalize the things that happen to us in life, when we don't seek a safe space to release ourselves without judgment, in confidence. And typically, the best place to do that is with a therapist. Now, the Lord may lead you to someone else, and that's fine. Therapists aren't the only people who can hold things in confidence, but with the skill and the art that the therapist has learned through education, and with the Christian therapist, the combination of Holy Spirit and the education, best combination as far as I'm concerned, then it's a whole other type of relationship, and it's a whole other type of what you will receive in the dialogue, in the conversation, because you'll think about things in a way that you haven't thought about it before because of the questions that the therapist is asking. And not so much the therapist is giving you advice. The therapist is asking you the right questions to lead you to your own right answers. And the therapist might know where the answer lies, but the therapist has to ask you the questions to get you there. So not telling you, do this, do that. I'm not talking about homework assignments. Do this, do that. Oh, this is what you should know. It's constant questioning. So you're constantly questioning yourself and finding the answers within yourself. Well, I think, and then doing with the homework assignments coming back, making those connections, furthering that conversation each session after each session, along with some other skills, building exercises or techniques and strategies that are used along the way. Then the whole thing starts to unravel. And it's like, man, what? This thing is real that has gripped me. And I didn't even realize how much it had gripped me. But now that I'm getting free, this is amazing. I'm walking around feeling lighter, looking lighter, complexion-wise, because again, that struggle, it affects us. I don't have some of the habits I used to have because some of those habits were born out of my issues because I was doing that to self-soothe, to self-medicate. Maybe I used drugs. Maybe I used alcohol. Maybe I used people, because we can use people to self-soothe as well. Maybe I used food. Maybe I used retail therapy, shopping, all types of things that can be abused. And we do it on an emotional level to self-soothe because of how I'm feeling in the moment. And that's the coping strategy, the unhealthy coping strategy that I adopted along the way to help me to feel good, but it's still unhealthy. We have a question or a comment in the chat. Honey Bunches says, let's see. Honey Bunches says, this is so true. Once I started addressing my issues in therapy, I had an undeniable glow to me. Okay. Once I released my baggage, I was much lighter. Thank you for that, Honey Bunches. Thank you for that confirmation. Because I know sometimes, I'm a therapist. People's like, she's just saying that. She's a therapist. It's real. It is true. And Honey Bunches has just said, this has happened to her. It is so true. If you just think about your own life, I don't know you. Think about your own life and some of the things that you have been through and how much weight that carries with it. That you've been carrying that around, however whenever it happened, right? You've been carrying that around in your mind, right? Bogging your mind down from time to time, but it's still lingering in the background, like a background theme, right? But sometimes it comes to the forefront based on whatever, and that emotional baggage of it. The emotions are just like, oh my gosh. So, we try to push it to the background, like part of the theme, but it's constantly pushing forward, right? Because I'm constantly being triggered by that individual, or even a new individual who doesn't even know me. And because I didn't even know myself, but I'm still being triggered because it's bringing my stuff to the forefront. But why? Because I don't even know you. But things that are said sound familiar. Things that are done sound familiar. And then baggage, baggage. Now I just want to go eat some ice cream and potato chips and lay in the bed. Now I'm emotionally eating and now I'm gaining weight. Trigger, unhealthy coping skill, gain weight. That's just one example. Trigger, unhealthy coping skill, use alcohol. Now I turn into an alcoholic, right? Trigger, unhealthy coping skill, food. Now I'm overweight. I can go on and on with example after example after example with the unhealthy coping skills that are like food. Food is a normal thing. We'll take drugs and alcohol out. Food, people, shopping, normal things that we do every single day, but they can be abused because they can become unhealthy coping skills when we're using them to self-soothe our emotions because of what the unhealed wounds that we have. And when we're triggered, and not even again realizing it, that this is what I'm doing. And then that pattern is what leads to that end result of addiction or being overweight or whatever it is that we use that was unhealthy. It's not that we said, I want to eat this food and become overweight. We didn't say that. It's just like, this feels good in the moment. Not thinking about my troubles. This ice cream, I love it. It feels good. Whatever comfort food is your thing, feels good. No, who's thinking, I'm going to gain 20 pounds if I keep doing this? You're not thinking about that in the moment. Just thinking like, this is good. Not thinking about my troubles, watching my favorite show, and the next day happens and I'm good. The next day happens, the same thing happens again. I'm feeling a certain type of way, pull out that comfort food again. And it's that repetitive pattern over time. It's like, I can't even fit my clothes. What's going on? Yeah, happens. But it doesn't have to happen that way. There's something that we can do about it. You have the power to do something about anything that's going on in your life. You don't have to do it the way your family of origin did it. When you were a child, you had to do things the way you were raised. That's just how it is. But as an adult, you can make an adult decision. You know what? That really didn't work for me in my childhood, but I didn't have control over that then. I have control now and I can do things this way. I can choose to make a different decision, a better decision. Why do we carry on generational patterns that are unhealthy when we're adults and we can do something different? Kids have no choice, I say, but as adults, I have a choice. I don't have to do that any longer or succumb to that any longer. Just because I'm still in that family, I don't have to do what they do. I'm grown now. Take your power back. Make a decision. I'm not behaving like that. I'm not involving myself with that. I'm not going to allow myself to be in that environment if this is what's going to continue to go on. I'm extracting myself from that. I can make that decision. I don't care what you say about me. It's my sanity that I'm trying to hold on to. It's my peace that I'm trying to maintain. And if you are not helping me to maintain my peace, then you can't be a part of this. Because my peace is the only thing that I have. That is what gets me through. And if you come to disturb my peace, you have to go. Or there has to be some distance between us. Love you, but I love you from a distance. Everybody doesn't have to be up close and personal to love them. We have to take control of our atmosphere and control of our circle and set boundaries on ourselves and others. Boundaries are healthy. In relationships, we have to have healthy boundaries, or it's not going to be good because people are boundary crossers. And the boundary is only as good as you enforce it. If you don't enforce it, well, you were just talking. Enforce the boundary. Decide to live healthy, mentally and emotionally, physically, spiritually as well. Protect your peace at all cost. That's where your sanity is. Don't allow anyone to come in your world that you create who tries to steal your peace, to try to rob you of your sanity. And the thing is, I stress this because we see it every day. We hear it on social media every day. I saw this one young lady today on social media. I felt so bad for her. She was talking about being a single mom and how she felt robbed of her life, starting at 21 because a man said this and she believed him and on and on and on. And she was crying. She was just so outdone. And she has 2 kids, a single mom. That's not how she planned her life. I felt so bad for her. And she was like, I'm crashing out. She's just being honest. We see it all the time. You turn on the news, people are robbed of their peace. But we have a part to play in that. I can say no more. I'm grown. I'm making a different decision and choosing who's going to be in my life. You're not choosing for me. I'm choosing for me, whether I want you in my life or not. And if you're unhealthy, you're not going to be up close and personal. Love you from a distance. Wish the best for you, love you, but you don't have to be up close for me to love you. And there's no love lost. It's just that you're not where I am. I'm on a different path. I'm on a different journey. And I'm just not saying that I'm better than you. I have decided to do something different, something better for me, because I want the rest of my life to be the best of my life. Point blank, period. Let's see if there's any questions, comments. Oh, Honey Bunches has another comment. Let's see here. Wait, Sharon. Okay, she says, but the key is you have to really put the work in. Absolutely. Showing up to therapy is the first step, but you have to make the intentional effort to modify your behavior. You're right. You can go to therapy all day long and leave and do the same thing. You're just wasting time and money. You can do the same thing you were doing before you walked in the door. You have to be intentional and do the work. It's not just going to happen. You've got to put work into it. And it's going to be challenging. And it's going to be emotional, which is the place that we don't want to go. But you've been through the worst of it. Whatever you came in there for, you've been through the worst of it. That's the thing. You lived through that. So this is easy. Not really easy, but if you live through it, you can live through therapy. You went through the depths of it, of the experience itself. So you can go through the therapeutic process. But it's still going to take work and it's going to be challenging. But on the other side of therapy, the freedom in your mind is unraveled from all of that baggage. Your emotions are untangled from all that you've been through. Who wouldn't want that? And if you're still one of those who's ashamed to go to therapy, there's no stigma with therapy, but okay, we know how it goes. You don't have to tell anybody. Nobody says you got to scream it from the rooftops, just because Honey Bunches has said it and she's free, okay, but you don't have to tell anybody. Just go. Get free so you can be better and feel better in today, in tomorrow, and every day thereafter that you submit to that, because it's for you. It's for you and for every relationship and every hat that you wear, because now you'll show up better in all those relationships that you have, and every role that you play in life, you'll show up better because you're not bringing all that baggage with you. Let me check TikTok. I checked the other one to see if there was any comments or questions. I don't see any. I hope I didn't miss anything. All right. Nope, I think I just see names. Not sure. Sorry, you guys. I had to put my face up closer because TikTok is so tiny. I think I'm good. I don't think I see anything. Oh wow. Okay. No, well, I'm sorry. Post a question again if you did. I see some other stuff, but I think it's just saying join or invite or something like that. But if you did have a question, try and post it again, and maybe it'll come up again, and I'll see it. So we're talking about relationships tonight. We're winding down because it is 8:50, and so I don't want to take up much more of your time. But again, there's so much information I can share, and of course, we just scratched the surface of talking about how we show up in relationships. There's so many layers to all of this. We could talk all day, every day, and still not get through it. But this is a platform for us to come, hopefully have a safe space to talk about, to get information for empowerment for yourself so you can walk this journey of life out better, and then think about getting into therapy yourself with what you may learn on this platform about how your own psychology works. And like, you know what? I think I want to figure myself out. I think I want to do better in my relationships, or I just want to do better for me. But again, when you do better for you, you do better for others as well, who you're in a relationship with, because you show up better. It can't not happen that way, because it can't not happen the opposite way as well. So that's what I wanted to share tonight. I could share more, but it's only 10 minutes left, and I don't want to go on a tangent, because that's what'll happen. It'll be after 9 o'clock, and there you go. So if you have any final questions, put them in the chat right now. If you're watching live on a replay, please like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel or platform that you're watching on. Click the notification bell and click all, so you'll know whenever I go live, and you don't have to think about it. And again, I'm on every Thursday night for Office Hours with Sharon. If you think of any questions during the week that you want to send to me about anything mental health related, the faith walk with Jesus Christ, anything related to that, email me at fulllifecommunications@gmail.com, fulllifecommunications@gmail.com. I do a Good Morning God, 8 a.m. Monday through Friday. If you have prayer requests, send that to the same email, fulllifecommunications@gmail.com. But put prayer in the subject box for if you have a prayer request, and put office hours if it's for this show and you have a mental health, etc. question. Put office hours in the subject box. And on Wednesday evenings at 8 o'clock, I do a show with my co-host, Faith Walk, talking about how we walk out this walk of faith with Jesus Christ. There are things that we should be doing in order to walk out the faith walk with Jesus Christ. And it's not an easy walk, but it's the best walk. So we walk that walk together on Faith Walk Wednesday nights at 8 p.m. There's some other shows coming down the pipeline. I will share those with you then. I won't share that with you now. But stay tuned. There's more things that Holy Spirit has for me to do, and I am being obedient, and I'm getting these shows out there because He will have His way with me, because I have submitted myself as a vessel for Him to use me as He sees fit. All of these shows, they're His brainchild, not mine, that He downloaded to me. And so I'm just being obedient with what He has me to do. So stay tuned for the other shows that I will have on, and join me for the ones that are on right now. And I'm going to close the show as the Lord has shared with me. Let's see if there's a question right here. Oh no, it's just somebody that joined. I'm going to leave you with Psalm 91, which is a prayer of protection. I'm going to be reading the NIV version. Say this prayer every day over your family, over yourselves, when you leave the house, when you come back home. Just say this prayer every day, because we need the protection of the Lord as we go throughout our lives. Right? Say it in the car. Say this prayer every day. And so on this platform, we are saying the prayer, Psalm 91, the prayer of protection, at the end of every one of our shows, so it can go out to you, and go out to cyber world, those where God has given me a sphere of influence and putting this out there. So those of you who are watching, pray this prayer of protection over you and yours. And so it reads, again, this is the NIV version. Psalm 91 says, "Whoever dwells in the shelter of the Most High will rest in the shadow of the Almighty. I will say of the Lord, He is my refuge and my fortress, my God in whom I trust. Surely He will save you from the fowler's snare and from the deadly pestilence. He will cover you with his feathers, and under his wings you will find refuge. His faithfulness will be your shield and rampart. You will not fear the terror of night, nor the arrow that flies by day, nor the pestilence that stalks in the darkness, nor the plague that destroys at midday. 1,000 may fall at your side, 10,000 at your right hand, but it will not come near you. You will only observe with your eyes and see the punishment of the wicked. If you say, "The Lord is my refuge," and you make the Most High your dwelling, no harm will overtake you, no disaster will come near your tent, for he will command his angels concerning you to guard you in all your ways. They will lift you up in their hands so that you will not strike your foot against a stone. You will tread on the lion and the cobra. You will trample the great lion and the serpent. Because he loves me, says the Lord, I will rescue him. I will protect him, for he acknowledges my name. He will call on me, and I will answer him. I will be with him in trouble. I will deliver him and honor him. With long life, I will satisfy him and show him my salvation. That is Psalm 91 in the Holy Bible. I pray that prayer of protection over everyone under the sound of my voice, whether you watch live or on the replay. I pray that prayer of protection over you and your household. Thank you so much for watching Office Hours with Sharon tonight. Join me again next Thursday, same time. Send me your questions, full-life communications at gmail.com. If you have questions during the week, and I will answer them on next week's live, and join me live or ask your questions live, however you choose to do it. And join me for Good Morning God, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. So I'll be here again tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. for prayer. Good Morning God is we just go to the throne of grace in prayer. Send your prayer requests also to that email address if you have prayer requests. So thank you for joining me. I love you with the love of the Lord. Have a God evening. Have a God rest of the week, and live on purpose with intention. Be better today than yesterday, and better tomorrow than today. You have the power to do that. It only takes a decision. I love you. God bless you. Shalom.